One thing that I forgot to mention that I have been thinking for a while, so we need to get to do some of the things really well and focus on them. If anyone knows what Readwise is from before, let me know in the chat. I would love to know. So this is something that I've been using ever since they were in beta. So it's a really small development team that is growing slowly. Now they got out of beta a few years back. And it's a place in which you can highlight things, right? In books, in your Kindle or in ebooks or something, iBooks. And they gather them and then they send you a summary email every day of 5 or 6 quotes. You can actually customize now the frequency and the amount of quotes. One of the things, for example, that I have is that by reading the hands-on machine learning book that I often recommend, here I have a repository of highlights or things that I liked that I think would be good for anyone to learn machine learning conceptually and even practically, because some things are actually hands-on experiments. So what I'm thinking of doing is that we could expand or create a separate system where the people who are signed up for a mailing list or something, or for this application that we're going to do, they receive a set of quotes talking about machine learning concepts that they want to interiorize, right? For example, here, this is more like historical stuff, right? Like talks about Linnet, about one of the first experiments that Jan LeCun did with convolutional networks in the 1980s. So machine learning is about making machines get better at some task by learning from data instead of having to explicitly code rules. This is something that if you know what machine learning is, you already know, but said in a really good way that we could share with other people and they would learn. I like specifically this one I like particularly. It helped me learn. It says, confusingly, the same word model can refer to a type of model, for example, linear regression, to a fully specified model architecture, like linear regression with one output and one input, or the final trained model ready to be used for predictions. For example, a linear regression model with one input and one output using beta or whatever that is as 4.85. Those are the values of the parameters. Model selection consists in choosing the type of model and fully specifying its architecture. Training a model means running an algorithm to find the model parameters that will make it best fit the training data and hopefully make good predictions on the new data. So you have models as a model type. Then you have an actual model architecture defined, where you define the actual inner layers and the inputs and the outputs. And then you have the trained model, right? Your model, when you train it, you deploy to the cloud. It's already trained on a set of data, already has an architecture. And what you do is that you deploy it online and you can have multiple of those, right? If you have a machine learning model architecture, you might train different models with it. So for different types of images, for example, to recognize. Okay, so I'm getting into the woods and I was just showing you what Readwise is. I can now choose another highlight. So for example, something that seems like I've read a lot is about sleep. I read an entire book on sleeping, style, or things that I like the way of writing from the books I've read. Anyhow, getting into the woods, that's Readwise in a nutshell. And that's something that I'm also thinking about doing. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.